Guys, the reviewer here, continuing my anniversary lists leading up to the season finale. And my next list is my top 10 favorite games of all time. Now, I have a lot more favorite games, but these are the 10 that I've selected that had big are they mean something special to me. And number 10 is Scribblenauts Unlimited. Now, Scribblenauts is a series that I absolutely love, and I'm honestly kind of sad that there are new entry. I mean, okay, there was Scribblenauts Showdown last year, and that was fun, but we've not had a new Scribblenauts game since Scribblenauts Unmasked, and that needs to change. We need a new Scribblenauts game. But I love having the Scribblenauts Mega Pack on Nintendo Switch is getting to have both Scribblenauts Unlimited and Scribblenauts Unmasked, a DC adventure. I've actually never played Unmasked. I mean, I played a bit of it, but I was playing Scribblenauts Unlimited because, my god, that game. Making Scribblenauts like an open world game was all the better if you ask me. Because I'm not saying I didn't like the way of Scribblenauts or Super Scribblenauts. I love both of those games. Those are two of my favorite DS games. But there was always that thing of they'd have oh hey, here's the puzzle levels, here's the action levels, and they really got the same. I mean, the first Scribblenauts, it's just collect the start. That's it. Yeah, you'll have to find a creative way to get to the start, but other than that, it was the same thing over and over. And that's why I love Scribblenauts Unlimited, because it put you in this open world and it actually gave a story. Yeah, it's a small story, but the fact that it actually added a story at all was impressive enough. I'm sure you can get through. Oh, you can get the main story done pretty fast. Because there's hidden objects you can find, and or not so much hidden objects, but there's this whole list of oh, here's this thing of riddles, and if you solve those riddles, they're here's a piece of the start, here's a piece of the start, here's a piece of the start, and then I feel splitting the start up into sections, it benefited it so much more, in my opinion. And I absolutely love it for that. And my next game is Max Payne. Now, this is one I'm going to technically be cheating a little bit, because I'm going to just say the whole trilogy. I love the Max Payne trilogy, because the first game is this murder. It's you're solving this big conspiracy, and then lots of things happen in it, and then you've got Max Payne 2: The Fall of Max Payne, which continues where the first one left off. And if you ask me, it's a masterpiece. I'm not gonna go into spoilers about the ending of it, but I'll say the ending of it is one of the it's one of the most it's one of the most depressing endings, but in the universe of Max Payne, it's very beautiful. It's a very beautifully tragic ending. And the third game is, for some reason, apparently a lot of people do not like Max Payne 3, and I don't have a clue why. I think the only thing I can think is the fact that it didn't feel like the first two games. But the thing is with Max Payne 3 is because you see in the opening sequence, he's on painkillers. And if you think about that in a way of the game, because he has this painkiller addiction, in a way, it's kind of because of, if you've played 1 and 2, it's kind of because of the player. It's one of those. I can get why people don't like this third one, I love it. I thought it was absolutely brutal, intense. It still had that same sense of humor, Max has, and this is sort of like dry, like observation of stuff that's things that are happening, and I love the ending of it. The ending of it, after the ending of two, it's a really nice end. Like if as there has not been another game, it's a nice send off for the character, and as a way of send off for the series, like finally giving Max his happy ending, kind of like I love that. That was really great, and it's one of my favorite games. Now, the next game is one of those games that is near and dear to my heart, and that is Lego Island. I love Lego Island. I'm not entirely sure, like, if it's the first game I played. It may very well be one of the first PC games I played. And I remember playing this so much when I was growing up. I loved Lego Island. And the best thing is, I have it installed. Like, you can't see it because, well, of course, I'm using the webcam, but I meant I have Lego Island installed on this PC because there are many, many fans out there who actually made a way to make it work on modern PCs. And to the people who did that, thank you so much for doing that. Like, thank you so much for doing that because it's great to have. Like, oh, if I just want to go play Lego Island for a bit, I can, and I love it. It's one of my favorite games. It's one of my favorite PC games, like hands down. And the next game is Marvel Spider-Man on the PS4. Now, I'm a Sony fan, but I'm a fan of all the consoles. I'm a fan of Microsoft, fan of Nintendo, fan of Sony. Marvel Spider-Man is one of the games that I would always throw. Like, if you haven't, like, if you've been thinking about getting a PS4 but haven't, this would be a game I could totally see people buying the console to get because it's incredible. And I know this is gonna sound sacrilege because I love Spider-Man 2. Like Spider-Man 2 is my like at the time before Marvel Spider-Man on PS4 came out was one of my favorite like Spider-Man games because at that time that was the one that made you feel like Spider-Man. But I feel like I probably can't go back to that one because I'd be comparing it to 27, 20, like, I'd be comparing it to the PS4 game, and it wouldn't hold up. Because the PS4 Spider-Man, it has an incredible story. The graphics are gorgeous. And the opening scene in the game, is the perfect startup for, like, oh, this is going to be something special. Because when you start it up, you see around Peter's apartment, you see all these different things. Then he gets a police. There's a call about something going on. Puts on a suit, he goes out as Spider-Man, and you start the game up, wet swinging, and I'm like, that is like, it was one of those moments of like when I first played it, I was like, oh, this is gonna be something special. Like this is not just gonna be like another Spider-Man game. This is gonna be like a special like this is gonna be one of those games, and it certainly is, because it's a masterpiece if you ask me. And without giving into the details of the ending of it, the ending is absolutely heartbreaking. Like the ending, it's a great ending, but it's actually like really depressing because there's a lot of things that happen. And one of my other favorite things about the game was Otto Octavius. You are actually working. You actually like work alongside Otto, and like you care about him, you like him, so you know eventually it's gonna lead to him becoming Doc Ock, and it's heartbreaking. Like it's heartbreaking because you feel for this man. Like you just feel so bad for him. Like you know what's coming, And then there's also the Attack of the Sinister Six. Like, I'm not even getting into that, but that was like, that whole part of the game was great. When it's like halfway through the game, the whole city of New York becomes a war zone. And it's amazing. It's one of my favorite games. Anyway, I'm gonna continue. And my next favorite game is Tex Murphy Under a Killing Moon. Now, I'm a big fan of detectives. I love murder mysteries. I love mysteries. I just love mysteries. I love mysteries and I love detectives. And Tex Murphy Under a Killing Moon is one of those games that I played at such a young age that, like, it had an impact on me. Because I was probably about 12. Yeah, I was about like 12 when I first played it, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with this witty, charming, bumbling detective who ends up uncovering this massive conspiracy, this whole thing, and he kind of he does solve it, of course. I mean, the it's one of those, like, it's an FMV game, but it's one of the examples of like how you do FMV right, because the acting in it is really good. You got Chris Jones, and like this is like the I'm not gonna say it was like the first live action appearance of him, but like it's the first one that's FMV, because the first one, Mean Streets. I love Mean Streets, but it's a flight simulator mixed with an adventure game, mixed with an act. It was the 90s and 80s. It's a different time. I was quite common back then, actually. But anyway, like, Under a Killing Moon is one of those games I love so much because the world of New San Francisco is so like, or San Francisco in like 2020, like the near future, late future, is really cool because you just see this big city. And Tesla Effect is one of my favorite games, and I actually contributed to it because I wanted to bring Tex back, because Overseer ended on such a big cliffhanger, and there were plans at the time when it came out for sequels, and it didn't happen until like 2014, 2015, like 2014 when Tesla Effect came out, because they did crowdfunding, and I gladly backed it because I love Tex Murphy, and it's one of my favorite games. And it's one of those games of, even though it's made on the Unity engine, it runs pretty well on my laptop. So like, I'm a little nervous about when the Poison Pond comes out, because I'm going like, it runs it, but it was like there's a little bit of lag sometimes, but it's like it's not that noticeable. And like, I'm a little nervous that there might be, but anyway, the reviewer signing out.